So, of course, yesterday we got our first actual official information from Rockstar regarding the summer update coming to GTA Online called the Los Santos Summer Special. It's obviously coming on the 11th of August, like it says, which is in 3 days. And we got some new screenshots. And I went over all the information that it says in this newswire in yesterday's video, but we really didn't dive too deep into these actual screenshots. And that's what we're going to be doing in today's video, because there are some little minor details in some of these screenshots which you might not have noticed, and it actually gives us an idea of, what to expect in this upcoming DLC. So let's start with probably the most interesting bit of information regarding these screenshots, and it comes in this picture. Now we have this amazing vehicle. I called it the Firebird in yesterday's video. It's the Superbird apparently. And this is actually going to be a Benny's vehicle. And the reason we can tell it's going to be a Benny's vehicle is way down here. Probably looks like some little scribble on the YouTube video. I'm going to go ahead and attempt to zoom in here. So it's kind of hard to make out what this says, but it looks like there's a G at least, and then some wording, and then there's a little maybe RC or something underneath it. And what makes this so interesting, if I hop into GTA 5, the Gauntlet Classic here, which is a vehicle that came out a couple, months ago, a couple updates ago. Let's take a look. Look at that. The Gauntlet AC. Pretty much the exact same logo. So one can only assume if that logo is going to be on the car, the screenshot in the exact same spot, odds are it's going to be a upgrade to this vehicle. So this Gauntlet Classic, I'm assuming you're going to be able to take this into Benny's, and then you're going to upgrade it into whatever version it's called in the in the screenshot. So I guess this kind of gives us a hint as to what to expect with these Benny's vehicles. It's looking like they're not going to be new vehicles. Like the base vehicle isn't going to be new. It's going to be vehicles that are already in the game that they're going to just get a Benny's version, which is fair and it's fine. I think that's probably the best way to go about it, because there are a bunch of vehicles I would love to see at Benny's. I mean, this is one that I think I didn't even realize, but it looks incredible in the screenshot. But some other ones, you have the Kuruma would be a great one. I think it's the ZR380, whatever the arena vehicle is, that would be incredible at Benny's. And there's some sport classic vehicles they've added and just regular sports vehicles they've added over the last couple of years that they have some decent customization, but they're not Benny's customization. And, I think we would love to see them actually in Benny's. So as far as Benny's goes, looks like we're just going to be using cars in the game. So it will be interesting to see, just because it's been, 5 years since Benny's released, if the level of detail and customization still holds up. But, again, given what we're seeing from this car coming from the Gauntlet Classic, I think we're going to be pretty solid. Now, this next screenshot I wanted to take a look at, because if you were like me, you were wondering, is this new jet ski, is this something new in the game? And after looking into it, it's not. Apparently this is just one of the variants that come with the yacht. And again, if we go back into GTA 5, I did spawn a jet ski, and you can see it's pretty much the same. It's not yellow, but it's pretty much the same thing. You can see speedophile, supercharged. It's even got the SPX on the back there. So it is the same jet ski that's already in the game. And just going back to the picture, you can see this one has speedophile, it's got the supercharged, and you can't see the back sort of bottom, but it is the same. Now, as far as the guy in this picture, that's a haircut we already have. That's a gun, obviously, we already have. I believe, though, this is a new shirt. Now, we have freaking a million variants of the same sort of shirts in this game, but I believe we don't actually have one that is this exact one. So I guess that might mean we're going to be getting some new clothing options with this update. The third screenshot that is the most interesting, of course, is the new F1 car. Although I've been told apparently this isn't actually an F1 car. I don't know specifically what the differences are between an F1 car and an Indy car, but this apparently is an Indy car. And it's actually based loosely, I guess, off of, this is the Verizon Indy car. And just going back and forth between the two, you can see they are pretty identical. Even the liveries are identical. So that is interesting if you're, going off of real life versions of it. Another thing to note about this vehicle down here, that's actually the Declasse logo. So if we take a look at the Declasse logo, you can see it's got the, the D with the circle and everything. And then going back, it's the same logo. Now, whether that means this is manufactured by Declasse, like it's a Declasse vehicle, or it's just part of the livery, we don't know just yet. But it is interesting to note. I thought that'd be just something fun that you might not have picked up. The only other thing I will mention about this particular picture is about the wheels. And it's not actually about this picture, but I am wondering, and it would be really cool if in Benny's we get some new rim and wheel versions like these F1 tires, but obviously to be placed on like the other vehicles, because you can mod F1 tires onto regular vehicles and it makes them so much better in some cases at least. So I would really like to see that option as an actual option in the new Benny's. Take these F1 cars and let us put them on some of the other vehicles. And then the last two pictures, there's nothing really, I don't think, of note in them. This one is just a picture of the yacht. There is no, it doesn't seem like there's any new additions. Like this is still the same helicopter. These are still the same boats down here. There's no like cosmetic changes, it doesn't look like. The only thing that I wanted to bring up regarding the yacht is because we're getting these new yacht missions, I would imagine this room is where they're going to start from. Like maybe they add a laptop in this or on this table, and that's where you start up the mission. It would make more sense because obviously you have a picture of the island, and it's just, it feels like this would be a starting point for some of these new missions. But yeah, that's kind of the only thing regarding this picture I wanted to talk about. And then the final picture, again, nothing to note because that's already in the game. We already know the casino. And this is going to be an adversary mode that not many people are going to play. Now, the only other thing I wanted to touch on a little bit more in detail on is some of the wording Rockstar actually put in their newswire. So they say tense new co-op missions launched from your super yacht. And then in the next paragraph about the same sort of missions, you will be able to engage in these missions that have everything from deep sea diving to high speed hijinks on the high seas. There's action for sailors of all stripes. There's two routes they could go with these missions, and I'm hoping it's this first one. I'm hoping they do the casino route. The casino missions are some of the better missions in the game because there is sort of a story to go along with it. Where the other route they could go is by just making these missions like new VIP missions or something. Yes, VIP missions and CEO missions and MC missions, they're fun, they're good for money and all that, but they're missing something. Where if these missions all tie together in some story, that would make them, I think, a lot better. But it does sound like there's going to be a decent amount of stuff going on here. Deep sea diving, that'll be cool. I'm guessing high-speed hijinks, escaping NPCs, but on the water. They also mentioned the new business battles. So they say you can take to the streets in the new business battles in some surprising locations for serious rewards. Those are some big words here. And they say surprising locations. Maybe that means they decide, hey, let's throw some business battles out on the sea. There's a bunch of sea-related stuff in this update. So maybe we see some stuff out there. And kind of going off of that, I think it would be really cool if they added the aircraft carrier to the game. We all know that's from the OG heists. That would be an amazing thing to add to the game. Throw some business battles on that thing so you have to go out there. That could be really cool. Although they do say take to the streets. So maybe this won't be sea or water related, but I don't know, man can hope, I think. Also, these serious rewards, that probably just means more cargo. I don't know how much more serious they could get without making these like too overpowered, I guess. And then the only other thing that was super weird when they mentioned these two things, the wording. So in this sentence, it says a fleet of new vehicles to acquire. So in this sentence, it says a fleet of new vehicles to acquire. And then if we scroll down, it says auto websites will be flooded with more than a dozen new vehicles. So fleet and flooded, those are words that kind of hint at water related stuff. They didn't mention any new boats or anything in this Newswire article, but Rockstar are very particular and specific when they word things. So it is interesting they use fleet and flooded in this particular Newswire. So that was a more more in-depth look at these screenshots and even the Newswire itself. It's going to be real interesting to see what actually comes on Tuesday, because even though we have all this information, we still don't know a lot about this DLC, just because it isn't going to be a major update. But thank you all for watching, and of course, please drop a like if you did enjoy, and subscribe for more GTA content. Once this DLC drops, I think we're going to be seeing a lot of stuff, a lot of cool stuff, so definitely be on the lookout for that. But thank you all, and as always, I will see you guys in the next one.